The roll.
Bear. Bayer. Bach. Brackett. Buckner Webb. Cameron. Davis. Durst. Fulcher. Getty. Guthrie. Hagedorn. Hyder. Hill.
Here.
Johnson. Kenyon. Keogh. Lacey. Lakey. Lodge. McKenzie. Mortimer. Nonini. Nuxel. Patrick. Pierce. Rice. Schmidt. Sidaway. Stennett. Thane. Tippett. Vick. Work. Winder. Bach. Brackett. Nuxel. Work.
Roll call shows 34 present. Senator Nuxall will be added to the roll call. Roll call shows 35 present. A quorum being present, the Senate is in order. Senate will advance to the second order of business, prayer and pledge of allegiance. We will be led in prayer this morning by our Senate chaplain, James Wibberding. We invite our friends in the gallery to stand and join with us in prayer.
Let us pray. Creator God, as I looked around the chamber this morning, I was reminded of the incredible potential that you weave into every human being. The citizens of our great state depend in part on this body to preserve the freedoms they need to reach their potential. That is made possible when each one of these senators reaches their fullest potential. I pray for our good senators today that they will continue to have the genius and stamina to meet that potential. I also think of our pages this morning. Our good Senate pages have shown their caliber during their service here. And as our current team departs and a new team comes on board, I pray that you will walk with each one of them, that you will bless them and help them to reach their fullest potential and make their mark on this world. Thank you for hearing my prayer, and I pray it in Jesus' name. Amen.
We will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning by our Senate page, Macon Whitlock.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Senate will advance to the third order of business, reading and correction of the journal.
February 15th, 2013. The Judiciary and Rules Committee reports that the Senate Journal of the proceedings of February 14th, 2013 was read and approved as corrected. Lodge Chairman.
Without objection, the journal will be filed in the office of the Secretary. Senator Davis.
Personal privilege.
Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senators, roadmap. We do not intend to go into the 10th order of business today. We've got a little bit of administrative work we need to do here between here and the reading calendars. We'll work our way through those reading calendars and get ourselves to the 13th order of business and pick up the legislation in the order that it lies. There may be a bill or two that will need to be held for various reasons. If you have one of those, please let us know. Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent. Senate advance to the 6th order of business.
Hearing no objection, the Senate will advance to the 6th order of business, reports of standing committees.
February 14th, 2013. The Judiciary and Rules Committee reports that the Senate amendments to Senate Bill 1003 and Senate Bill 1033 have been correctly printed. Lodge Chairman.
Without objection, the report will be filed in the office of the Secretary.
February 14th, 2013, the Judiciary and Rules Committee reports that Senate Bill 1003 as amended and Senate Bill 1033 as amended have been correctly engrossed. Lodge Chairman.
Senate Bill 1003 as amended and Senate Bill 1033 as amended will be referred to the 11th order of business, first reading calendar.
February 14th, 2013, the Education Committee reports out House Bill 81, 84, and 83 and recommend that they do pass. Getty Chairman.
House Bill 81, House Bill 84, and House Bill 83 will be referred to the 12th order of business, second reading calendar.
February 14th, 2013, the Health and Welfare Committee reports it has had under consideration the gubernatorial appointments of J.F. Coons to the Hazardous Waste Facility Siting License Application Review Panel, term to expire March 6, 2015. Carol Mascarenas to the Board of Environmental Quality, term to expire July 1, 2016. And Beth Elroy to the Board of Environmental Quality, term to expire July 1, 2016. The committee recommends that said appointments be confirmed by the Senate. Hyder, Chairman.
Gubernatorial appointments of J.F. Coons, Carol Mascarenas, and Beth Elroy will be referred to the 10th order of business and held for one legislative day.
February 14th, 2013, the Health and Welfare Committee reports out House Bill 17 and recommend that it do pass. Hyder, Chairman.
House Bill 17 will be referred to the 12th order of business, second reading calendar.
February 14th, 2013, the Health and Welfare Committee reports out Senate Bill 1072 with the recommendation that it be referred to the 14th order of business for amendment. Hyder, Chairman.
Hearing no objection, Senate Bill 1072 will be referred to the 14th order of business for possible amendment.
February 15th, 2013, the State Affairs Committee reports it has had under consideration the gubernatorial appointment of Warren R. Bakes to the Idaho Endowment Fund Investment Board, term to expire April 11, 2016. The committee recommends that said appointment be confirmed by the Senate. McKenzie, Chairman.
The gubernatorial appointment of Warren R. Bakes will be referred to the 10th order of business and held for one legislative day.
There is no further business in the sixth order, Mr. President.
Senator Davis.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent to advance to the 8th order of business.
Without objection, the Senate will advance to the 8th order of business, messages from the governor.
February 13th, 2013, the Honorable Brad Little, President of the Senate. Dear Mr. President, I have the honor to inform you that Roger L. Jones of Glens Ferry, Idaho, was appointed to the Idaho Lottery Commission to serve a term commencing March 30, 2012 and expiring January 1, 2017. This appointment was made subject to confirmation by the Senate, and notice of appointment is hereby given. As always, Idaho, C.L. Butch Otter, Governor of Idaho.
The gubernatorial appointment of Roger L. Jones to the Idaho Lottery Commission will be referred to the State Affairs Committee, and correspondence will be filed in the Office of the Secretary.
There is no further business in the 8th order, Mr. President.
Senate will advance to the 9th order of business, messages from the House.
February 14th, 2013. Mr. President, I transmit herewith House Bill 88, which has passed the House. Alexander, Chief Clerk.
House Bill 88 will be referred to the 11th order of business for introduction.
There is no further business in the 9th order, Mr. President.
Senate will advance to the 10th order of business.
I apologize, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent to advance to the 11th order of business.
Without objection, the Senate will advance to the 11th order of business, introduction and first reading of bills.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that all bills on first reading be read by number, author, and title only, and the journal show they've been read at length.
Without objection, is so ordered.
In the Senate, Senate Bill number 1106 by State Affairs Committee, an act relating to the personnel system to provide for health savings accounts for state employees who choose a high-deductible health plan. In the Senate, Senate Bill number 1107 by State Affairs Committee, an act relating to revenue and taxation to establish provisions relating to providing certain assessment notices electronically to the taxpayer. In the Senate, Senate Bill number 1108 by State Affairs Committee, an act relating to initiative and referendum elections.
Senate Bill 1106, Senate Bill 1107, and Senate Bill 1108 will be referred to the Judiciary and Rules Committee for printing.
In the Senate, Senate Bill number 1003 as amended by Resources and Environment Committee, an act relating to fish and game, to revise provisions relating to Class II licenses, to provide that certain persons with a Class II license shall not hunt big game and shall be accompanied in the field by an adult licensed to hunt in Idaho. In the Senate, Senate Bill Number 1033 as amended by Judiciary and Rules Committee, an act relating to conservators and powers of attorney to provide that responsibilities relating to an agent's accountability to certain fiduciaries and principals shall also apply to appointed temporary conservators.
Senate Bill 1003 is amended and Senate Bill 1033 is amended will be referred to the 12th order of business, second reading calendar.
In the House of Representatives, House Bill Number 88 by Revenue and Taxation Committee, an act relating to the special income tax credit available for new employees, including veterans.
House Bill 88 will be referred to the Local Government and Taxation Committee.
There is no further business in the 11th order, Mr. President.
Senate will advance to the 12th order of business, second reading calendar. Senator Davis.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that all bills on second reading be read by number and author only, and the journal show they've been read at length.
Hearing no objection, is so ordered.
In the House of Representatives, House Bill Number 115 by Appropriations Committee. In the House of Representatives, House Bill Number 40 by Transportation and Defense Committee. In the Senate, Senate Bill Number 1049 by Resources and Environment Committee. In the Senate, Senate Bill Number 1055 by Education Committee.
House Bill 115, House Bill 40, Senate Bill 1049, and Senate Bill 1055 will be referred to the 13th order of business, third reading calendar.
There is no further business in the 12th order, Mr. President.
Senate will advance to the 13th order of business, third reading calendar. The Senate now has before it for final consideration Senate Bill 1013. Secretary will read the bill.
In the Senate, Senate Bill Number 1013 by Health and Welfare Committee, an act relating to telecommunications service assistance to remove reference to link-up contribution.
President.
Senator Hyder.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that further reading of Senate Bill 1013 be dispensed with, and the journal show that it has been read the third time at length, section by section, and placed before the Senate for final consideration.
Hearing no objection, is so ordered, and Senator Hyder is recognized to open debate on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good senators, this is a simple bill brought to us by the Telecommunications Service Assistance Program. The term link-up, which gave a $3.50 discount to Idaho's low-income customers, has been replaced by Lifeline, which continues to give that $3.50 discount to Idaho's low-income customers, and the process of link-up has been done away with. And so in this section where it says "and link-up" on two different occasions, that's been stricken from the verbiage, and now it just says Federal Lifeline Program. With that, Mr. President, the debate is open.
Debate being open, is there further debate? Hearing none, Senator Hyder is recognized to close debate on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. The debate is closed.
Debate being closed, the question is, shall Senate Bill 1013 pass the Senate? Secretary will call the roll.
Baer? Bayer? Bach? Brackett? Buckner-Webb? Cameron? Davis? Durst? Vulture? Getty? Guthrie? Hagedorn? Hyder? Hill?
Aye.
Johnson? Kenyon? Keogh? Lacey? Lakey? Lodge? McKenzie? Mortimer? Nonini? Nuxel? Patrick? Pierce? Rice? Schmidt? Sidaway? Stennett? Thane? Tippett? Vick? Work? Winder? Davis?
Roll call shows 35 aye, majority having voted in the affirmative. Senate Bill 1013 is passed the Senate. Is there a correction to the title? Hearing none, title is approved, and Senate Bill 1013 will be transmitted to the House of Representatives. Senate now has before it for final consideration Senate Bill 1031. Secretary will read the bill.
In the Senate, Senate Bill Number 1031 by Commerce and Human Resources Committee, an act relating to commercial transactions to provide for an exception to establish provisions relating to certain remittance transfers and to establish provisions relating to the application of laws.
Mr. President.
Senator Davis.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that further reading of the bill be dispensed with. The general show has been read at length, section by section, and placed before the Senate for final consideration.
Hearing no objection, is so ordered. Senator Davis is recognized to open debate.
Thank you, Mr. President, good senators. This is a relatively straightforward piece of legislation. It modifies Article 4A of the Idaho Uniform Commercial Code. It's brought to you by myself and my fellow uniform law commissioners. Idaho has adopted Article 4A. In fact, all 50 states have adopted Article 4A. It deals principally with the electronic transfers, both for commercial transactions and consumer transactions. Prior to the federal enactment of the Dodd-Frank Act, which I'm not a fan of, I'd be less than candid if I didn't say that out loud. And it actually feels therapeutic to say it. I feel really good having said it right now. But prior to the enactment of Dodd-Frank, federal law dealt with wire transfers that were consumer transactions. So at least one of the parties had to meet the definition of a consumer transaction. And it was known as the electronic funds transfers, or EFTs. State law applied to all other transfers. That is, it would involve basically commercial or anything that wasn't an EFT, so that at least if you had one of the parties that met the definition of a consumer transaction, then you were governed by federal law. All others, however, were by state law. What Dodd-Frank does, however, is it creates a new transaction called a remittance transfer. And the way they defined a remittance transfer was to say that it's not an EFT. Well, what does that mean? Well, we're not really fully sure, and I guess with time we'll get a more rich understanding of what that means. So the Uniform Law Commission, that strives to make sure that we as states get to own as much of this as we could or should, have said, all right, we're going to claim as much of that uncertainty as we can. And as a result, you have the bill in front of you, so that it just basically says that state law is going to grab all of that unless ultimately we find out that the federal law, in its definition of a remittance transfer, takes it from us. We're hopeful that it has value. We'll find out with time whether it does. We have had 4 states so far that have adopted the amendments to Article 4A. Additionally, we have 26 introductions around the country. We are hoping to reclaim as much of this as we possibly can for state law and state consideration. A relatively straightforward bill. I ask for your aye vote. Mr. President, debate is open.
Debate being open, is there further debate? Hearing none, Senator Davis is recognized to close debate on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. I know each year, each of you look forward to the quality work product that your Uniform Law Commissioners bring. This one is certainly one of those. I ask for your aye vote. Debate is closed.
Debate being closed, the question is, shall Senate Bill 1031 pass the Senate? Senator Winder.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent that the roll call vote used for the passage of Senate Bill 1013 be now used for the passage of Senate Bill 1031.
You've heard the unanimous consent request. Is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. Roll call shows 35 aye, a majority having voted in the affirmative. Senate Bill 1031 has passed the Senate. Is there correction to the title? Hearing none, title is approved, and Senate Bill 1031 will be transmitted to the House. Senate now has before it for final consideration Senate Bill 1050. Secretary will read the bill.
In the Senate, Senate Bill number 1050 by Transportation Committee, an act relating to motor vehicle dealers to revise provisions relating to education requirements of applicants for a wholesale dealer's license.
Mr. President.
Senator Winder.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent for further reading of Senate Bill 1050 be dispensed with. The Journal show it's been read at length, third time, section by section, and placed before the Senate for consideration.
Hearing no objection is so ordered. Senator Winder is recognized to open debate on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senators, this is a bill that was brought to us by the Independent Auto Dealers Association of Idaho to deal with some changing circumstances in the automobile industry. As most of you are aware, there are some minimal educational requirements for issuance of licenses in Idaho and in the renewal of licenses in Idaho relating to the sale of automobiles. As the industry has changed, it's become necessary to bring this forward and to add a provision that requires wholesale dealers to take a 4-hour licensing class in order to secure their initial license or to have a renewal of the license. And if I might read, Mr. President, from an email I received from Mr. Rex Green, who represents the Independent Auto Dealers Association of Idaho.
Having identified the source, the Senator may read.
Thank you, Mr. President. The purpose of dealer education is to inform dealers of new laws and regulations and refresh the current dealer body on existing laws, regulations, and changes based on case law. The motor vehicle dealers is one of the most regulated industries in Idaho, with agencies such as the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Federal Trade Commission, the new Consumer Finance Protection Commission, EPA, to name a few federal oversight agencies. In Idaho, the Division of Motor Vehicles, State Attorney General Office, both with consumer protection and advertising regulations. The Department of Environmental Quality oversees emission controls. The Idaho State Tax Commission, acting as the state sales tax collector. Department of Finance with consumer finance regulations, and local planning and zoning commissions with code enforcement and exterior signs and location requirements. I read that, Mr. President, Senators, so you have an understanding that there's quite a bit that goes into being an auto dealer in Idaho. And as the wholesale dealers, you might think, well, maybe they only just sell to other dealers or to other businesses, but apparently they actually sell to individuals. And there have been some cases in the past couple of years where that's led to problems when they've had dealers that were uninformed of some of the requirements of all these various agencies that I read to you. This would add a 4-hour requirement for education. And with that, Mr. President, debate is open.
Debate being open, is there further debate? Hearing none, Senator Winder is recognized to close debate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Debate is closed.
Debate being closed, the question is, shall Senate Bill 1050 pass the Senate?
Mr. President.
Senator Fulcher.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the roll call vote used for the final passage of Senate Bill 1013 now be used for the final passage of Senate Bill 1050.
You've heard the unanimous consent request. Is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. Roll call shows 35 aye, majority having voted in the affirmative. Senate Bill 1050 has passed the Senate. Is there a correction to the title? Hearing none, title is approved, and Senate Bill 1050 will be transmitted to the House of Representatives. Senate now has before it for final consideration Senate Bill 1028. Secretary will read the bill.
In the Senate, Senate Bill number 1028 by Education Committee, an act relating to education to remove reference to a pilot program and to remove unnecessary language, to revise provisions relating to participation in the Mastery Advancement Program, and repealing
Mr. President.
Senator Thane.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that further reading of Senate Bill 1028 be dispensed with. The journals show that it has been read the third time at length, section by section, and placed before the Senate for final consideration.
Without objection, it is so ordered, and Senator Thane is recognized to open debate on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill has to do with the Master Advancement Pilot Program that was passed about 3 years ago with had a pilot or sunset day on it. And what this bill does is it takes off that sunset date. A little report on how the bill, how the program has worked. There's really been no problems with the bill that the Department of Education has had to work with. It has given them some time to work out some of the paperwork and different things like that, but it's been fairly effective in some school districts that use the pilot program. What it did, it allowed students that graduated a year early to get a scholarship from the average daily attendance that the state would have spent on that student if they had been in school their senior year. And they get a 35% of the statewide ADA, which last year was about $1,417 to attend an in-state public institution. The school district also got a similar amount, and then the 30% remaining was not spent, or was a savings to the state. Last year there was about $40,000 worth of scholarships to students that use this program, and my co-sponsor and I would like to take this opportunity to all high school students within the state of Idaho. And with that, Mr. President, I'd like to yield a little bit of time to my co-sponsor, which is a senator from District 18.
Senator Durst, you have the floor.
Mr. President, thank you. I'll be very brief. This program, when we passed it 3 years ago, was pretty innovative, trying to figure out ways to utilize the ingenuity of our students and their determination to complete school more quickly. And so I'm excited to have seen the progress we've made, students that have gotten scholarships as a result of this program, the savings that we've had to the state of Idaho. And I think that just be like the good gentleman from, or a good senator from 8 said, you know, be able to open this up, be able to have some predictability within school districts to know that this is a program they can count on going forward will be a great thing, and urge your support.
Debate being open, is there further debate?
Mr. President,
Senator Cameron.
would the senator from 8 yield to a question?
Senator Thane, would you yield?
Yes.
Senator Cameron to state his inquiry.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I'm sorry I had to look for the number so that we do things appropriate. I'm hoping that you can give me some comfort in the fiscal impact statement. I know that the program's been up and running for 3 years. Can you identify how much money has been spent in this program, and can you identify what you project, your best judgment, the Center from 8's best judgment on what will be spent this next year? And is that an increase, by passage of this bill, is that an increase over the fiscal impact, over what we had initially anticipated?
Senator Thane to respond.
Thank you, Mr. President. Gentleman from, or Senator from 27. Last year there was about $40,000 that went to students that thereby went to in-state institutions, so that it actually went to the colleges and community colleges they attended. About $99,000 went to school districts, and there was about 100, and the reason there's a different amount there is because some of the students that graduated early and qualified for a scholarship didn't use the scholarship because they either went out of state, or so the school districts actually ended up getting more money than the students did. But the savings would have been about $150,000 that was not spent. So as this goes forward, if those students stay in school, it would have cost the state actually more. So as the more students that take advantage of this, the more it saves the state. And I can't really say how many students are going to take advantage. It's growing fairly slowly. But if all the seniors in the state of Idaho graduated a year early, we would save about 30% of the current cost. It's the best way I can answer that question.
Mr. Chairman, would the senator from 8 yield further?
Senator Thane, would you continue to yield?
Yes, Mr. President.
Senator
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator from 8. I believe you were the sponsor of the original act 3 years ago, or you were one of the co-sponsors. Do you remember what the fiscal impact of that bill was then? And are we underachieving that fiscal impact, or are we overachieving that impact?
Senator Thane.
Mr. President, Senator from 27. I think the way the fiscal impact was written was more proportional, as I've described it in my previous response, in that as the more students used it, the more savings would be achieved. I don't know, I cannot exactly remember what the fiscal impact said 3 years ago.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Is there further debate? Hearing no further debate, Senator Durst is recognized to begin closing debate.
Mr. President, debate is closed.
Debate being closed, the question is, shall Senate Bill 1028 pass the Senate? Secretary will call the roll.
Baer. Bayer. Bach. Brackett. Buckner-Webb. Cameron. Davis. Durst. Fulcher. Getty. Guthrie. Hagedorn. Hyder. Hill. Johnson. Kenyon. Keogh. Lacey. Lakey. Lodge. McKenzie. Mortimer. Nonini. Nuxall. Patrick. Pierce. Rice. Schmidt. Sidaway. Stennett. Thane. Tippett. Vick. Work. Winder. Bach. Cameron.
Mr. President,
Senator Cameron.
having not debated the bill, may I have 60 seconds to explain my vote?
Senator has 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senators, I'm going to vote for it. Obviously, I think there is some savings to be had when this occurs. I would, however, just a word of caution. It is so much more helpful if the fiscal impact statement actually takes a best judgment dollar amount as to what it would either save or what it would either cost us as we're trying to balance things through. So just a comment that way. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Cameron votes aye.
Davis. Lodge. Schmidt.
Roll call shows 35 aye, a majority having voted in the affirmative. Senate Bill 1028 has passed the Senate. Is there a correction to the title? Hearing none, title is approved, and Senate Bill 1028 will be transmitted to the House of Representatives. Senate now has before for final consideration Senate Bill 1076. Secretary will read the bill.
In the Senate, Senate Bill number 1076 by Finance Committee, an act appropriating additional monies to the Commission on Hispanic Affairs for fiscal year 2013.
Mr. President.
Senator Keogh.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that further reading of the bill be dispensed with and that the journal show it's been read the third time at length, section by section, and placed before the Senate for final consideration.
Hearing no objection is so ordered, and Senator Keogh is recognized to open debate.
Thank you, Mr. President and Senators, for your consideration this morning in Senate Bill 1076 is a supplemental to the fiscal year 2013 budget for additional spending authority of $10,000 for the Commission on Hispanic Affairs, and this would go towards operating expenditures. These monies were received from private donations to the Commission with the intent that they be spent on various community activities, including the Hispanic Youth Summit. This supplemental was not requested by the agency at budget submission time. However, in December, it became apparent that the Commission was receiving more donations than anticipated, and thus would need to increase its spending authority in order to use those dollars. Therefore, the gentleman on the second floor recommended a $10,000 increase for operating expenditures from the Miscellaneous Revenue Fund. And with that, Senators, debate is open.
Debate being open, is there further debate? Hearing none, Senator Keough is recognized to close debate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Debate is closed.
Debate being closed, the question is, shall Senate Bill 1076 pass the Senate? Senator Winder.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ask unanimous consent the roll call vote used for the passage of Senate Bill 1013 be now used for the passage of Senate Bill 1076.
You've heard the unanimous consent request. Is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. Roll call shows 35 aye, a majority having voted in the affirmative. Senate Bill 1076 has passed the Senate. Is there a correction to the title? Hearing none, title is approved, and Senate Bill 1076 will be transmitted to the House. The Senate now has before it for final consideration Senate Bill 1077. Secretary will read the bill.
In the Senate, Senate Bill number 1077 by Finance Committee, an act appropriating additional monies to the Commission for the Blind and Visually Impaired for fiscal year 2013, authorizing additional full-time equivalent positions for fiscal year 2013.
Mr. President.
Senator Bayer.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that further reading of Senate Bill 1077 be dispensed with, and the journal show that has been read for the third time at length, section by section, and placed before the Senate for final consideration.
Hearing no objection, is so ordered, and Senator Bayer is recognized to open debate on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senators. This legislation provides an additional appropriation of $312,800 to the Commission for the Blind and Visually Impaired to provide additional client services in the current fiscal year 2013. Included in this supplemental is an increase of $310,600 of federal funds as a result of a new grant agreement split with the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation for federal vocational rehabilitation grant funds. Included in this supplemental is $21,200 of one-time dollars, and the remaining $289,400 is ongoing. The remaining $2,200 is dedicated monies from the store proceeds is for additional personnel costs and related staffing for the increase of the 0.12 FTPs for the Commission to operate its adaptive aids and appliance store. Good Senators, the timing on this is such that they will have the opportunity to have quicker implementation of this money, as opposed to, because of the restraints of the mismatched with our budget year, the budget year on the federal level, it would be reduced to 3 months if we didn't deal with this in a supplemental manner. And with that, Mr. President, debate is open.
Debate being open, is there further debate? Hearing none, Senator Bayer is recognized to close debate on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Debate is closed.
Debate being closed, the question is, shall Senate Bill 1077 pass the Senate? Senator Winder.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent the roll call vote used for the passage of Senate Bill 1013 be now used for the passage of Senate Bill 1077.
You've heard the unanimous consent request. Is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. Roll call shows 35 aye, a majority having voted in the affirmative. Senate Bill 1077 has passed the Senate. Is there a correction to the title?
Yeah.
Hearing none, title is approved, and Senate Bill 1077 will be transmitted to the House of Representatives. Senate now has before it for final consideration House Bill 12 as amended in the Senate. Secretary will read the bill.
In the House of Representatives, House Bill number 12 as amended in the Senate by Revenue and Taxation Committee, an act relating to the sales and use tax.
Mr. President.
Senator Rice.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that further reading of House Bill 12 as amended in the Senate be dispensed with, and the journal show that it has been read the third time at length, section by section, and placed before the Senate for final consideration.
Hearing no objection, is so ordered, and Senator Rice is recognized to open debate on the bill.
Mr. President, members of the Senate, this is a bill that we charge a use tax for a certain period prior to the time people move to the state of Idaho. What this bill does is that it takes and makes for those that are in the United States military active duty get transferred on orders. It gives that same time period or the period after they receive their orders prior to the move, whichever is shorter. The other thing it does is it lines up the language on the sales tax exemption for the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, which was previously the food stamp program. With that, debate is open.
Debate being open, is there further debate?
Mr. President.
Senator Cameron.
Mr. President, I would request a call of the Senate.
A call of the Senate has been requested and is supported. Sergeant of Arms will close and lock all of the doors. All senators in the chamber will remain in the chamber. Senator Bach, you will remain in the chamber. Sergeant of Arms, the Secretary will call the roll.
Bear. Bayer. Bach. Brackett. Buckner-Webb. Cameron. Davis. Durst. Vulture. Getty. Guthrie. Hagedorn. Hyder. Hill.
Here.
Johnson. Kenyon. Keogh. Lacey. Lakey. Lodge. McKenzie. Mortimer. Nonini. Nuxel. Patrick. Pierce. Rice. Schmidt. Sidaway. Stennett. Thane. Tippett. Vick. Work. Winder. Bear. Bach. Buckner-Webb. Durst. Keogh. McKenzie. Mortimer. Pierce. Sidaway. Work.
Roll call shows 28 present, 7 absent. The Sergeant at Arms is hereby ordered to find and to present to the Senate Senators Bear, Keogh, McKenzie, Mortimer, Pierce, Sidaway, and Work. Senate will go at ease, awaiting the Sergeant at Arms report. I love that. Was he trying to get gavelled down? Is that the whole thing he was trying to do?
I don't know how we'll do between now and quarter to noon, but if we get most of the way through, five or six items, the 10th and then the 13th on Monday. So I'm only going to come back at 11.
You're going back to Rexburg.
Senator Guthrie has a question.
Did you want us to have a memorial, those pretty memorials ready for the trail service for the families? Did you do that last year?
You don't call her. She just reports to the Christie Center. Do call the roll? Oh, okay. I. Who does? Okay.
Welcome to Idaho in Session, Legislature Live. Funding is provided by the Idaho State Broadcasters Association, with additional support from the Union Pacific Foundation, the Idaho Association of Counties, the Association of Idaho Cities, the Idaho Cable Telecommunications Association, and your contributions to the Idaho Public Television Endowment.
Senate will come to order. Before going at ease, the Senate was in the 13th order of business and a call of the Senate had been requested. It appears that Senator Baer, Senator Keel, Senator McKenzie, Senator Mortimer, Senator Pierce, Senator Sidaway, and Senator Work are present. Senator Cameron.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the call be lifted.
Hearing no objection, the call has been lifted. The Senate was in the 13th order of business and had under consideration House Bill 12 as amended in the Senate. Debate had been opened. Is there further debate on House Bill 12, if you remember what we were talking about? Hearing none, Senator Rice is recognized to close debate on the bill.
Mr. President, debate is closed.
Debate being closed, the question is, shall House Bill 12, as amended in the Senate, pass the Senate?
Mr. President.
Senator Winder.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent the roll call vote used for the passage of Senate Bill 1013 be now used for the passage of House Bill 12 as amended in the Senate.
You've heard the unanimous consent request. Is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. Roll call shows 35 aye. A majority having voted in the affirmative, House Bill 12 as amended in the Senate has passed the Senate. Is there a correction to the title? Hearing none, title is approved, and House Bill 12 as amended in the Senate will be returned to the House of Representatives. Senate now has before it for final consideration House Bill 21. Secretary will read the bill.
In the House of Representatives, House Bill number 21 by Transportation and Defense Committee, an act relating to municipal airports, to remove language relating to certain...
Mr. President.
Senator Rice.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that further reading of House Bill 21 be dispensed with, and the journal show it has been read the third time at length, section by section, and placed before the Senate for final consideration.
Hearing no objection is so ordered, and Senator Rice is recognized to open debate on the bill.
Mr. President, members of the Senate, what this bill does is it removes a requirement for a review of grant applications under certain circumstances. We have a requirement that requires that before you submit them to the FAA, they have to be submitted to the Department of Transportation. These aren't grants that require matching funds, and as a result, all we're doing is unnecessary additional work and expense to both the Department of Transportation and the applicants. This removes that so that they no longer have to do that. Thank you. With that, debate is open.
Debate being open, is there further debate? Hearing none, Senator Rice is recognized to close debate.
Mr. President, debate is closed.
Debate being closed, the question is, shall House Bill 21 pass the Senate? Senator Winder.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent the roll call vote used for the passage of Senate Bill 1013 be now used for the passage of House Bill 21.
Hearing no objection is so ordered. Roll call shows 35 aye. A majority having voted in the affirmative, House Bill 21 has passed the Senate. Is there correction to the title? Hearing none, title is approved and House Bill 21 will be returned to the House. Senate now has before it for final consideration House Bill 25. The Secretary will read the bill.
In the House of Representatives, House Bill Number 25 by Revenue and Taxation Committee, an act relating to property tax administration, to require that files include certain contact information, to conform the extended date for the homeowner's exemption for occupancy tax to that allowed for the homeowner's...
Mr. President.
Senator Rice, for what purpose do you stand?
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that further reading of Senate Bill, or of House Bill 25 be dispensed with, and the journal show it has been read the third time at length, section by section, placed before the Senate for final consideration.
Hearing no objection is so ordered. Senator Rice is recognized to open debate on the bill.
Mr. President, members of the Senate, this makes several technical corrections to the property tax laws. One is that it requires taxing districts that are filing legal descriptions or maps to include contact information. It corrects a date on the occupancy tax statute so that it matches the date that's in the homeowner's exemption. Clarifies the requirement for abstracts of the property tax rolls prepared by county auditors show increment values of revenue allocation areas. It changes a reference to county commissions to County Board of Equalization, which is the correct name for the board that hears appeals of recovery of improperly granted homeowners exemptions. Clarifies the date for filing claim for property tax relief in the event that it falls on April 15th, and that's a holiday, so that it goes to the next business day. Extends the time for correcting erroneous property tax levies from January 30th to February 15th, which gives them adequate time to make sure that that gets done. With that, debate is open.
Debate being open, is there further debate? Senator Mortimer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Would the senator from 10 respond to a question?
Senator Rice, would you respond to a question? Senator Mortimer, state your inquiry.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator, the question that I have is on the occupancy tax, and I'm trying to understand on new construction, and I'm hoping I'm understanding this right. If you have a home that you're building, the home is assessed at a significantly lower value until that it is determined that it's occupied, and that occupancy can happen different times throughout the year. And I'm trying to see the relationship of this homeowner's exemption and the occupancy. I believe the occupancy, the homeowner's exemption has to be filed before April 15th. So I'm just trying to understand how those two relate, and if it gives us more leeway. Let's assume someone doesn't file an occupancy until the following year, and they've lived in the home, the exemption for a year, and they've lived in the home for a year. So can you tell me how that works, if you would, please, Senator?
Senator Rice to respond.
What that, Mr. President, Senator 30, what that does is it changes the language from notwithstanding limitations requiring occupancy as of January 1 of the tax year to as of April 15th of the tax year. It's not a change in how the occupancy tax works. It's just that the language used to reference the requirement of occupancy by a particular date was incorrect. It said January 1 instead of April 15th in referring to the homeowner's exemption. And so it takes it just corrects that reference. It doesn't change how the occupancy tax works or when it starts.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Mr. President.
Is there further debate? Senator Lakey.
Mr. President, thank you. Would the senator from 10 yield to a question?
Senator Rice, would you yield?
Mr. President, I would yield.
Senator Lakey, to state your question.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator, these look like they're primarily administrative type changes. Are the elected officials that are impacted, the assessors and the commissioners, do they feel these are necessary and appropriate changes?
Mr. President,
Senator Rice to respond.
Senator from 12. They're technical corrections. I'm not certain that I don't believe that the elected officials that might be impacted had any objections. I don't know how much discussion there was with them because there's not a change to what they do other than they are given additional time for the that last part, which is the time for correcting erroneous assessments. So they're actually given a little more time with that one. So that's the only real impact on what they do. It's mostly just fixing things so that it matches what current practice is.
Thank you, Senator.
Is there further debate? Hearing none, Senator Rice is recognized to close debate.
Mr. President, debate is closed.
Debate being closed, the question is, shall House Bill 25 pass the Senate? Senator Winder?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd ask unanimous consent the roll call vote used for the passage of Senate Bill 1013 be now used for the passage of House Bill 25.
Hearing no objection is so ordered. Roll call shows 35 aye, a majority having voted in the affirmative. House Bill 25 has passed the Senate. Is there correction to the title? Hearing none, title is approved. House Bill 25 will be returned to the House of Representatives. Senate now has before it for final consideration House Bill 87. Secretary will read the bill.
In the House of Representatives, House Bill number 87 by Revenue and Taxation Committee, an act relating to wine excise tax, to provide clarification when excise tax is to be paid by a winery and to make technical corrections. Be it enacted by
Mr. President.
Senator Bayer.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that further reading of House Bill 87 be dispensed with and the journal show it has been read for the third time at length, section by section, and placed before the Senate for final consideration.
Without objection is so ordered.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senators. Under current statute, the wine excise tax of 45 cents per gallon is payable by Idaho wineries to the Tax Commission based on the transfer of wine. An example is if one were to have an Idaho winery and transfer several cases of wine from that winery to the tasting room, then they would pay that wine excise tax on a product that they may never sell. House Bill 87 amends the code to clarify that the wine excise tax is paid by Idaho wineries on the basis of actual sale of the wine and not the transfer of the wine. The Idaho State Tax Commission is already recognizing the wine excise tax payments from Idaho wineries based on the actual sale. But the Tax Commission could technically interpret it as a tax to be charged during the transfer of the wine. House Bill 87 just clarifies what the Tax Commission is already doing with regard to recognizing the payments of wine excise tax from Idaho wineries based on the actual sale of the wine. This bill also strikes the word license under line 21 of the bill. It's duplicative language since the winery by definition is already licensed in the state of Idaho in order to conduct business. They do so through their applications, background checks, and payments of a fee with the Idaho State Police Department. Idaho's grape and wine industry met with the Tax Commission. There's no known opposition to this legislation, and there's no fiscal impact since the Tax Commission's current practice is already to collect the wine excise tax payments based on the sale of wine. With that, Mr. President, debate is open.
Debate being open, is there further debate? Hearing none, Senator Bayer is recognized. Close debate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Debate is closed.
Debate being closed, the question is, shall House Bill 87 pass the Senate? Senator Winder.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent the roll call vote used for the passage of Senate Bill 1013 be now used for the passage of House Bill 87.
Hearing no objection is so ordered. Roll call shows 35 aye. Majority having voted in the affirmative, House Bill 87 has passed the Senate. Is there correction to the title? Hearing none, title is approved, and House Bill 87 will be returned to the House. Senate now has before it for final consideration House Bill 39. Secretary will read the bill.
In the House of Representatives, House Bill number 39 by Transportation and Defense Committee, an act relating to recreational vehicles, to provide that initial license fees for recreational vehicles shall be prorated on a monthly basis for new owners and subsequent renewals of annual licenses shall...
Senator Buckner-Webb.
Mr. President, I ask for unanimous consent that further reading of House Bill 39 be dispensed with, and the journal show it has been read the third time at length, section by section, and placed before the Senate for final consideration.
Hearing no objection is so ordered, and Senator Buckner-Webb is recognized to open debate on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. This legislation is brought to us by the Department of Parks and Recreation and amends existing law affecting annual license fees for recreational vehicles. As the bill serves to amend existing law and codify a proration practice that has been in place for many years, there's no impact to the general fund or to the recreation vehicle fund. Under this legislation, the new owner will pay initial license fees for recreational vehicles on a prorated basis. The new owner who purchases or acquires a registration that expires near the end of the calendar year will pay only for those remaining months in the current calendar year. The initial registration fees will be prorated on a monthly basis for new owners only. Purchases of subsequent renewals of the annual license fee shall require full payment of the annual fee regardless of the registration date. Debate is open.
Debate being open, is there further debate? Hearing none, Senator Buckner-Webb is recognized to close debate on the bill.
Mr. President, debate is closed.
Debate being closed, the question is, shall House Bill 39 pass the Senate? Senator Winder.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent the roll call vote used for the passage of Senate Bill 1013 be now used for the passage of House Bill 39.
You've heard the unanimous consent request. Is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. Roll call shows 35 aye. Majority having voted in the affirmative, House Bill 39 has passed the Senate. Is there correction to the title? Hearing none, title is approved, and House Bill 39 will be returned to the House of Representatives. Senator Davis.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that House Bill 41 hold its place on the legislative calendar. May I explain?
Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. At the request of the sponsor and a few other members of the floor, there is a request to hold it for 3 legislative days to allow some further inquiry and conversation to occur. The unanimous consent request, Mr. President, is for 3 legislative days.
For the unanimous consent request that House Bill 41 be hold its place on the calendar for 3 legislative days. Is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. Senate now has before it for final consideration House Bill 85. Secretary will read the bill.
In the House of Representatives, House Bill number 85 by Transportation and Defense Committee, an act relating to single county-wide highway districts, to establish provisions relating to determining a vacancy on a single...
Mr. President?
Senator Hagedorn.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that further reading of House Bill 85 be dispensed with, and that the journal show it's been read the third time at length, section by section, and placed before the Senate for final consideration.
Hearing no objection, is so ordered. Senator Hagedorn is recognized to open debate.
Thank you, Mr. President. In code, when we established the countywide, only one countywide highway district, it was never envisioned or written into code how to replace one of the commissioners should they leave their office early. We just failed way back when to write that in code. So we had that incident happen in Ada County just this last fall, or this last year, and so discovering that that was not in code, the county actually went to other sections of code, found where there was code written that works for other political subdivisions. That was duplicated and now put in code for the single county-wide process to replace a commissioner that might leave office early. This is a tried and true process, and was brought to us by the county that is the only single-wide county highway district. And with that, Mr. President, debate is open.
Debate being open, is there further debate? Hearing none, Senator Hagedorn is recognized to close debate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Debate is closed.
Debate being closed, the question is, shall House Bill 85 pass the Senate? Senator Winder.
I ask unanimous consent the roll call vote used for the passage of Senate Bill 1013 be now used for the passage of House Bill 85.
You've heard the unanimous consent request. Is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. Roll call shows 35 aye, a majority having voted in the affirmative. House Bill 85 has passed the Senate. Is there correction to the title? Hearing none, title is approved, and House Bill 85 will be returned to the House of Representatives. Senate now has before it for final consideration House Bill 32. Secretary will read the bill.
In the House of Representatives, House Bill number 32 by Health and Welfare Committee.
Mr. President.
Senator Schmidt.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that further reading of House Bill 32 be suspended and the journal show it has been read at length a third time, section by section, and placed before the body for final consideration.
Without objection, is so ordered. Senator Schmidt is recognized to open debate.
Thank you, Mr. President. So, House Bill 32 deals with the Idaho State Board of Psychologist Examiners, which is a term that actually refers to psychologists. And if you look at the bill, it's very interesting. It adds a final section that is under the purview of the Board of Psychologist Examiners, and they want to start writing rules that will refer to the use of communication technology in the practice of psychology. So as we have telemedicine, this will be telepsychology. And they need to write rules on that. People are actually doing it right now, but we don't have rules or ways to supervise it, and this is their intention. And debate is open.
Debate being open, is there further debate? Hearing none, Senator Schmidt is recognized to close debate on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate your consideration of this bill. Debate is closed.
Debate being closed, the question is, shall House Bill 32 pass the Senate? Secretary will call the roll.
Bear. Bayer. Bach. Brackett. Buckner-Webb. Cameron. Davis. Durst. Fulcher. Getty. Guthrie. Hagedorn. Hyder. Hill. Johnson. Kenyon. Keogh. Lacey. Lakey. Lodge. McKenzie. Mortimer. Nonini. Nuxel. Patrick. Pierce. Rice. Schmidt. Sidaway. Stennett. Thane. Tippett. Vick. Work. Winder. Durst. Mortimer. Pierce.
Roll call shows 31 aye, 4 nay, a majority having voted in the affirmative. House Bill 32 has passed the Senate. Is there a correction to the title? Hearing none, title is approved, and House Bill 32 will be returned to the House of Representatives. Senate now has before it for final consideration House Bill 33. Secretary will read the bill.
In the House of Representatives, House Bill number 33 by Health and Welfare Committee, an act relating to the Occupational Therapy Licensing Board.
Mr. President.
Senator Lodge.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that further reading of House Bill 33 to be dispensed with, and the journal show it has been read for the third time at length, section by section, and placed before the Senate for final consideration.
Without objection, is so ordered. Senator Lodge is recognized to open debate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good Senators, House Bill 33 helps clarify that a limited permit may be granted to a graduate occupational therapist or graduate occupational therapist assistant who has completed their education and they are waiting while their application is being processed by the board. This extends that they can practice under supervision under Section 543715 for up to a 6-month period of time or as extended by the board. And that's all there is to House Bill 33. Good Senators, debate is open.
Debate being open, is there further debate? Hearing none, Senator Lodge is recognized to close debate on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good Senators, debate is closed.
Debate being closed, the question is, shall House Bill 33 pass the Senate? Senator Winder?
Mr. President, Ask unanimous consent the roll call vote used for the passage of Senate Bill 1013 be now used for the passage of House Bill 33.
You've heard the unanimous consent request. Is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. Roll call shows 35 aye, a majority having voted in the affirmative. House Bill 33 is passed the Senate. Is there correction to the title? Hearing none, title is approved, and House Bill 33 will be returned to the House of Representatives. The Senate now has before it for final consideration House Bill 35. Secretary will read the bill.
In the House of Representatives, House Bill number 35 by Health and Welfare Committee, an act relating to the Board of Social Work Examiners.
Mr. President.
Senator Lakey.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that further reading of House Bill 35 be dispensed with, and the Journal show it has been read the third time at length, section by section, and placed before the Senate for final consideration.
Hearing no objection, is so ordered. Senator Lakey is recognized to open debate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senators, House Bill 35 comes from the Board of Social Work Examiners. They're the board that maintains the professional and ethical standards for licensed social workers in Idaho. The bill adds sections that provide if the board receives a complaint regarding a particular social worker that they've been they've acted in violation of Idaho code. It provides that the board may review the files and records pertaining to that particular client in performing their investigation, and that review is protected from disclosure under the Public Records Act, unless, of course, the client consents in writing to the release of those records, or excuse me, that report. It also adds items to the list of conduct which may be subject to discipline. The first one being if that social worker has had their license or registration revoked or suspended in another jurisdiction, and then also for failure to comply with an order from the board as a result of a disciplinary action. And with that, Mr. President, debate is open.
Debate being open, is there further debate? Senator Nonini.
Mr. President, would the good senator from 12 yield to inquiry?
Senator from 12, would you yield?
Always.
Senator Nonini, to state your question.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good Senator, can you explain to me what's been happening currently when there's a complaint filed against an examiner?
Senator Lakey, do you respond?
Mr. President and Senator from
3.
I'm not sure exactly how they've been handling it, Senator. I assume the practice is to try to investigate it. They needed additional clarity that they were able to look at that particular file regarding the client that submitted the complaint, and that those protections from public records be maintained. I'm not sure the exact process, though, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Is there further debate? Hearing none, Senator Lakey is recognized. Closed debate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Debate is closed.
Debate being closed, the question is, shall House Bill 33 pass the Senate? Secretary will call the roll.
Baer. Bach. Brackett. Buckner-Webb. Cameron. Davis. Durst. Fulcher. Getty. Guthrie. Hagedorn. Hyder. Hill.
Aye.
Johnson. Kenyon. Keogh. Lacey. Lakey. Lodge. McKenzie. Mortimer. Nonini. Nuxel. Patrick. Pierce. Rice. Schmidt. Sidaway. Stennett. Thane. Tippett. Vick. Work. Winder. Durst. Pierce.
Roll call shows 34 aye, 1 nay, a majority having voted in the affirmative. House Bill 35 has passed the Senate. Is there a correction to the title? Hearing none, title is approved, and House Bill 35 will be returned to the House of Representatives. The Senate now has before it for final consideration House Bill 36. Secretary will read the bill.
In the House of Representatives, House Bill number 36 by Health and Welfare Committee, an act relating to the Board of Nursing Home Administrators.
Mr. President.
Senator Schmidt.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that further reading of House Bill 36 be dispensed with, and the journal showed has been read at length, section by section, and placed before us for final consideration.
Hearing no objection, is so ordered. Senator Schmidt is recognized to open debate.
Thank you, Mr. President. House Bill 36 deals with the Idaho State Board of Examiners of Nursing Home Administrators. Now, we've been dealing with boards with these last few bills, and these boards are independent boards that have to be fiscally responsible and self-sufficient. And this bill addresses that. They maintain a balance, and the current balance in their account is around $36,000. They raise this money by fees they charge the people that they license, and then they spend this money. And the spending of this money is what this bill is trying to address. The largest cost that they could face with this bill would be a contested disciplinary proceeding, and they currently have no ability to collect money in this contested case. So this bill says that the board may impose a fine if there is a licensee who's found to be in violation, and they may also charge the person that they are investigating costs. Be glad to answer your questions, but this is actually a legal language that is in place for many states and many other boards, and even though there has not been an issue for the nursing home administrators, they saw this as a potential problem and suggested this change to the statute. With that, debate is open.
Debate being open, is there further debate?
Mr. President.
Senator Tippett.
Mr. President, Senators, I do have some concerns with this legislation, and I'm going to refer you to the bill, so you may want to have that in front of you. Existing language, allows the board to take certain types of actions against someone who's acting inappropriately, and that language is begins on line 10 of page 1 of the bill. It says the license of a person practicing or offering to practice nursing home administration may be revoked, suspended, or such licensee may be reprimanded, censured, or otherwise disciplined for various violations that are enumerated later in that section. The new language, as you see, begins on line 25. And it says now, as the sponsor explained, the board may impose a fine of up to $1,000 upon a licensee for each violation of any, and I think that word's important, of any of the provisions of Section 5416.12.1. So Section 5416.12.1 immediately precedes subsection 2. So as you look at that language, I want to refer you to the language that begins on line 17, because this is one of the violations for which you could be fined $1,000 for each violation. So B says, upon proof that such licensee has willfully or repeatedly violated any of the provisions of this chapter or the rules enacted in accordance with. So this is the way I read this, and if I'm reading it wrong, I'd like to have the sponsor correct me. So anyone who is willfully or repeatedly, so if you're repeatedly violating, even though it's not willful, you're subject to the fine. And what are you violating? Any of the rules, any of the provisions of the chapter, but any of the rules that are enacted. So the way I read this, someone who is unknowingly but repeatedly violating any of the rules could be subject to a fine of $1,000 for each violation, plus also be charged the cost of the investigation. Now, one other issue that gives me a bit of concern is that as I look at the other provisions of the chapter, and I was doing this just before I came up on the floor, just looking at this quickly, but in that same chapter, we have section 5416.11, and this isn't part of the bill, but in there it enumerates certain violations which are to be considered misdemeanors. The penalty for those misdemeanors is a fine of up to $500 and then possible imprisonment as well. Now, I would read the bill that the new $1,000 fine probably supersedes the language referring to misdemeanors, However, it's interesting that we have a provision in the bill that says for these things, you've committed a misdemeanor, you can be fined $500. But for everything now, we're going to say even unwillful violations of rules, as long as they're repeated, we can fine you $1,000 for each violation. So, Senators, if I'm understanding that right, I can't support the language the way it's written here, and if I'm wrong, I'd like the sponsor to straighten me out. Thank you very much.
Is there further debate?
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent, Senate Goody, so called Chair.
Without objection, the Senate will be at ease. Good, weren't they? Good.
Let's just say that call them breakfast bars.
That's what they were, yeah. Brown breakfast bars. Senate will come to order. We're going at ease. The Senate was in 13th order of business and had under consideration House Bill 36, on which debate had been opened. Senator Schmidt.
I could hear you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that House Bill 36 be held on the calendar till Tuesday, the 19th of February. May I explain?
Senator has the floor.
Yes, Mr. President. I, as floor sponsor, need further time to discuss issues brought up here in debate with the agency bringing this forward.
You've heard the unanimous consent request. Is there objection? Hearing none, House Bill 36 will hold its place on the calendar until Tuesday.
Thank you.
Senator Davis.
I ask unanimous consent that bills in the 13th order of business be reordered by placing Senate bills at the top, followed by House bills, followed by Senate Bill 1042.
Without objection, the bills in the 13th order of business will be so reordered.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent to advance to the 15th order of business.
Hearing no objection, the Senate will advance to the 15th order of business, miscellaneous business and announcements. Senator Davis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senators will adjourn to the hour of 11 a.m. on Monday. We have just a half a dozen matters that will be either in the 10th order of business or in the 13th order of business on Monday. And so I believe if we move to that 11 a.m. Starting time will be fine. Prior to adjournment, I ask if there are introductions or announcements.
Mr. President.
Senator Hagedorn.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we start our session, or every day here on the floor, we say the Pledge of Allegiance, we bow our heads. The gallery people come and go. There's always been one person here this week that has made sure that we're safe and secure in carrying on our business, and I would like us to recognize and thank Corporal Chris Cottrell for being here and taking care of us and making sure everything is safe and runs smoothly. Thank you, sir.
Senator Lodge.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good senators, in our gallery today we have with us Mike McAvoy, who was a former member of the House, and he is from my district, and if you would please help me make him welcome. Thank you.
Senator Vick.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are honored to have one of our pages. Austin's mom is here today. Susie's up in the gallery, and not only is she Austin's mom, but she was my daughter's middle school basketball coach. So let's welcome Susie Patel into the Senate.
Senator Cameron.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm truly blessed, and today I get to recognize and have you help me recognize first my wife, Linda, who doesn't get to come up very often, my oldest daughter, Carissa, and my two granddaughters, Ashlyn and Caitlin, my son-in-law, David, and his wife, and my second daughter, Lacey, and the newest member of my family, their son, my grandson, my first grandson, Carter James Gents, born on Inauguration Day, by the way. And Mr. President, Senators, would you help me welcome them to the Senate?
Glad to have your family here, Senator. I'd like
Mr. President?
Senator Winder.
Just a reminder, we do have state girls basketball tickets available if anybody's going to be around this weekend and wants to go to the games. And if you do go to the games, you can save your ticket for the boys tournament, which will be coming up in the very near future. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Sidaway.
Mr. President, for an inquiry, would the good senator from 33 stand for a question, please?
Senator Davis, would you respond to a question?
I will.
Senator
Thank
Sidaway.
you. Mr. President, yesterday I was caught late at a meeting, and I ran up the stairs, and it was a dry meeting, and on the way up I was drinking a soda. And when I got to the top of the stairs, I looked for a trash can, and there wasn't. And as I entered the chambers, I think the good senator from 33 was in the process of asking a question on whether or not food could be on the floor or whether it could be consumed on the floor. And I was just wondering, good senator from 33, if this body was so inclined to change that direction, at what order of business would that be brought up in?
Senator Davis.
Mr. President, Senator from 35. Is your inquiry on the process on how to amend a Senate rule, and if so, did you intend to amend the rule to go beyond consumption and to include possession?
Senator Sidaway.
Senator from 33, it is indeed the intent of my question is to ascertain whether or not, in which order of business we would have to introduce such bill, and it is indeed to change the procedures so that we could consume on the floor.
Senator Davis to respond.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good Senator from 35. I personally am not a fan of open containers on the floor of the Idaho State Senate.
Don't think that was a question, Senator.
Excuse me?
That wasn't a question, Senator.
Second of all you would have to do was prepare an appropriate Senate resolution for introduction and bring it to the Rules Committee. We have an excellent chairman of the Senate Rules Committee, and I have confidence that her training under Senator Darrington would teach her what to do with that resolution. And in the event, however, it did get a hearing, then it would require the consideration of the committee. If the committee chose to send it to the floor with a recommendation that it pass, it would require a simple majority on the floor. In the event, however, the committee chose to print it and send it to the floor and it did not return to the Rules Committee, then it would require a 2/3 vote of the floor to do that. Now, I might also add that although I announced earlier we would be coming in 11, we will now be coming in at 10:30. However, not because of the inquiry, but because I had forgotten one of the more important things that we will do on Monday, and that is that we will memorialize former members of this body. And the good Senator Darrington plans to return. And you may want to make that inquiry of Senator Darrington at that time.
Thank you, good Senator. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President.
Senator Bach.
Yes, would the good senator from 35 be available for a question?
Senator from 35. Senator Bach, to state your question.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good senator from 35. Would you be willing to work with me on a draft of that legislation that would allow us to consume wine and beer as well?
Good Senator, I have some personal problems with that. I would not be able to be a party to that effort.
Mr. President.
Senator Bach.
For further inquiry.
Senator Sidaway, would you yield further?
I will.
Yes, then Mr. President and good Senator, perhaps this is a little bit like the camel getting its nose under the tent, but I sure would like to work with you on that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senators. Further announcements before we go too far. Senators, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the 10 pages that have been serving us for the last 6 weeks. They've been great to work with. We had a meeting with the governor the other day and explained that when the first set of pages go home that we are halfway through the session. And he indicated that, the gentleman on the second floor indicated that he had signed one bill in the first half of the session and hopes to have at least one more in the second half of the session. Our Sergeant of Arms goes through a period of mourning as these pages leave. So our challenge to the new pages coming in Monday morning is to help cheer up our Sergeant of Arms so she can make it through the next 6 weeks. With that, would you please help me express our gratitude once again to our Senate pages. I have one last introduction to make, and that is of my grandson, Braxton, who's up in the gallery. Braxton, you want to wave? There you go. And his parents happen to be there, too. But he comes, and he likes it when I use the hammer more often, he says. But if you'd help me welcome Braxton. Senator Davis.
Thank you, Mr. President. For those of you who are concerned, it's also my granddaughter Penelope's birthday tomorrow. It's her 3rd birthday. We'll be going to Chuck E. Cheese here in the Valley. So, Mr. President, Senators, I continue to slide the time on you, and I do apologize. We'll need to be coming in at 10 a.m. in order to accommodate prior commitments that we have made to others who will be joining us, including Senator Darrington, who will want us to maybe pause a moment or two before the gavel comes down to have a good visit with the senator from 35. I might also remind each of you that when you come to the Senate chambers and in the event you find yourself possessed of substance you would rather not bring onto the floor, even though there may not be a garbage can, you are welcome to just lean over and gently place it neatly on the floor against the wall, and then you could pick it up upon adjournment. It's just a suggestion. I move the Senate adjourn to the hour of 10 a.m. on Monday.
Mr. President, I second the motion.
You've heard the motion, the second, that the Senate adjourn until 10 a.m. on Monday. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. The Senate will stand adjourned.